What's good, YouTube? We back for another video, man. Before I get into it, man, I hope you guys have been locked in. I hope you guys have been taking care of yourselves, man. Let's get it. So, this video gonna be about relationships, man. All right. Everybody's gonna have mixed opinions when it comes to relationships, but I'm gonna give y'all my insight on how I feel personally about relationships. You know what I mean? Relationships in 2026, man. I don't know. From my personal experience, relationships are complicated and a waste of time. Okay? And I'm gonna explain to y'all why. All right. This isn't to try to steer people from not wanting a relationship. If you still want a girlfriend or a boyfriend, go ahead. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying this for me, right? And maybe some of y'all watch this video could kind of relate to what I'm saying. Or maybe it can give y'all like a different mindset when it comes to relationships. So I've only been in one real relationship, y'all. Just one. I'm finna be 20 in 1 month, and I've only been in one real relationship. It's crazy, right? Just one. I've had opportunities, but I didn't take them. But I only been in one, and I was 16 when I got into my first actual relationship. But honestly, even though it was my first real relationship, it didn't even really mean much because the girl that I was dating at the time, which is now my ex, she left me after only 2 months of being together. We barely did anything. I more so cared more about her than she cared about me, right? We never really did much. We barely even saw each other. You know what I mean? We lived in the same area. Actually, we still live in the same area. I still live in the same apartment complex with my ex. That is crazy, right? But she left me, right? For a long time, I didn't understand why she left me. I was trying to figure out what did I do wrong, because one random school day, she was very distant, very dry, out of nowhere, didn't know why, didn't know what was going on. And I was at the gym one day, still couldn't even really work out because I was more so waiting on her to text me. And fast forward, I'm chilling in my room, just chilling, watching YouTube, still waiting on her to text me, by the way. They ain't texted me all day. Then out of nowhere, I finally get a text from her saying that, "Oh, I'm sorry. I hate I had to do this to you, but I wish we split ways," basically. And she came up with these excuses talking about, "Oh, I'm finna graduate. And apparently I guess she was trying to say that she was going off to college, which had nothing to do with why she broke up with me, but, and she was talking about we rushed into it, just trying to make it sound good, right? At the time, I bought it, but obviously now I know the real reason why she left me, right? But anyway, I can go in detail, but basically, that's how my first relationship went. And ever since then, I haven't been in a relationship since. Obviously, I've tried. I've talked to a few girls since then, but it never really went anywhere. I had a situationship for a long time, but that didn't go anywhere because it was just toxic. So I kind of realized that after dealing with these girls, after trying for a relationship, that a relationship was never what I needed in the first place. See, I thought that a relationship was what would make me happy, but it turned out to be my biggest downfall, right? Because I put so much effort and so much energy into these girls, and I don't really get nothing from it. I just do it because I care about them. But I'm literally like fucking up my own life because of it. So after all of this time, I've realized, man, that relationships it's so much to relationships, man, that it's just crazy, right? Like it's no point because the thing is, guys, is that I want to become successful. Okay, I want to be successful. You know, I want to get in the best shape possible. I want to make as much money as possible. I want to look the best I can, right? I want to self improve. I want to max out my stats. So I know that in doing that, I'm gonna be very busy. So just off of that, I know that I can't be in a relationship because I'm gonna be busy most of the time. You know, most of the time, even now, I'm working most of the time, right? I'm working 10-hour shifts at my job most of the week, so I'm barely gonna have time to even spend time with a girl, right? And then on top of that, right? Like I said, I'm somebody that goes to the gym 5 days a week as well. You know, and I also work on my content, my business, whatever. So I'm naturally a busy person, you know, meaning that I just don't have time to be in a relationship. And every time that I end up talking to a girl, all they end up doing is becoming a distraction to me, right? Because majority of girls, most of them kind of care about attention, okay? And if you don't give them enough attention, what are they're gonna do? They're gonna cheat on you. Most of them will, not all of them, but most of them, you know. So I've realized that I've been messing up this entire time trying to chase a relationship, right? So never chase a relationship, y'all, because I'm telling y'all, I feel like when you get to that point, when you're successful, a relationship is the last thing you will need. Because you're too high value to be in a relationship. You're too busy to be in a relationship. And honestly, it's too much of a risk to be in a relationship when you're high value. Because everybody thinks that once they lock in on their life or, you know, go on their self-improvement journey and they kind of spend like 2-3 years by themselves, you know, maxing out all their stats, you know, making more money, getting in better shape, looking their best, and then they finally decide, okay, I'm finna get back in the dating game. It's gonna be a lot tougher. And the reason why I say that is because you're more high value, meaning that it's gonna be girls, you're gonna have to weed out the girls that are only gonna want you for your bread or want you for you. And that's gonna be almost impossible because, to be honest, you'll never know. Girls can try to act like, you know, they genuine at the start to kind of reel you in, but whole time they only want to use you for your money. They're only with you because you're rich or some shit, you know, or because you got status or you're famous or whatever the case is. So it's like, I don't know, y'all, you know, and I mean 2-3 years time with me locking in, who knows where I'm gonna be at. I could be, you know, I could have blown up on social media, right? I could be like kind of semi-famous. I could possibly be making a lot more money, right? Like, I don't know, y'all. And I feel like when I get to that point, I don't think a relationship is really in the cards for me no more, because it's like I'm no longer like an average person. You know, I'm not saying I'm like a celebrity or something like that, but it's like these girls, you know, I see this a lot, right? Like a lot of successful people struggle when it comes to dating. They actually struggle. A lot of attractive men, are struggling dating because of this reason right here. That's why I feel like it's a waste of fucking time. Because if you're an average person, you're gonna struggle most of the time because you know, if you're an average person, you know, you're probably not making as much money. You're probably not in the best shape you can be, or you don't look the best you can be. I mean, you could probably find you a girl, sure, but it's not gonna. But if she is coming across a dude that has all those things, that has better looks, that has more money, and that has a better physique, most of the time, they might not. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, your girl might cheat on you, man. You know what I mean? Your girl might cheat. So it's like, even dating as an average person, it sucks because, you know, you're kind of limited. But dating as a successful person sucks too, you know, because now you're like, I don't know, y'all. It's like two ends of the same fucking needle. I don't know. Like you got I don't know, man. That's why I say relationships are complicated. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. My personal opinion, I don't believe in 2026. It is very rare to be in a long-term relationship with somebody without them cheating on you. In my personal opinion, I know a lot of people are gonna disagree, but to be honest with you, with how social media has impacted dating and changed dating, it's so easy for women and for dudes to want to cheat on you. They have easier access to cheat on you. You know what I mean? Like a girl can literally be texting a dude off of Instagram or Snapchat, and she could link up with that dude without you even knowing. And same thing for a dude. He could be in a girl's DMs that looks better to you or whatever, and be talking to a whole nother girl, and you will never know. Cheating has become so much easier now. So every long-term relationship I've seen is definitely not without somebody in that relationship cheating. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the problem is that a lot of people have unrealistic expectations when it comes to relationships, because they believe that this is what it is. They believe that if they are with somebody for 30 years, that it's not possible that they would never have any thoughts of cheating on them. I'm sorry to tell y'all. I'm gonna be the first one to tell y'all that's not true. And the reason why I say that is because as you know, for the human psychology, right? We get used to something very, very quickly. Okay. When our brain gets used to something, our brain is going to automatically want something more or want something new. That's how it works. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's easy for girls to get bored. Okay. I just seen a video where I never forget. Actually, I said seen a video. I seen a video a long time ago, and I never forget this. This couple was together for 17 years, and this dude was getting ready to propose to her a week later. But a week before she decided to leave. And out of nowhere, she left because she was bored after 17 years. And, you know, I would think, like, how is that possible? But I'm telling y'all, man. And I just seen a video where this dude was in his 50s on FedEx Extreme. I remember seeing that video, and I remember him talking about that his wife or girl, whatever, decided to leave after 33 years, right? So if y'all think that y'all are gonna be with that person forever in this generation, then you're kidding yourself. The reason why it was possible back then was because cheating was a lot less likely to happen, because nobody had access to social media. If you wanted to talk to somebody, you had to talk to them face to face. Now everything is online. You could cheat with somebody you met online. You don't even have to go out, right? That's how it works, right? So it's like we have more access to more people now. Girls have access to, depending on how good they look, girls can have access to high status dudes. So even as a regular person, all it takes is for your girl to, for a high status dude to slide in your girl's DMs, and she gonna fold. Most of them gonna fold, right? I remember seeing Austin Dunham's like loyalty test shit, right? He's like the perfect example of what I'm talking about, because he literally like used to do them, and I used to watch his little videos on him, right? And he's like the perfect example of a high status, right? Bro's rich, bro's successful, you know, bro's jacked, you know, rich, and has good looks, no homo, right? And he literally slid in subscribers' girlfriend's DMs, and majority of them failed. You know, there was even a girl that was married, and she failed, right? Like, so it's like relationships in 2026, man, is it even worth it? I don't know. Because a lot of people are dating to marry. Okay, you know, it depends on what your goals is. If you're dating to marry, I'm gonna be the one to tell you. I might be young and 19, and people might think I don't know anything, but I'm gonna be the one to tell you, man. If you're dating to marry, you're gonna have a hard time finding. Because if listen, you could find a girl that you want to marry, but I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If you think that she won't cheat on you or leave you, then you're kidding yourself. Okay, I don't care how good how good you think your girl is. Any girl is capable of cheating. Okay, I thought my first girlfriend was gonna be with me forever. That's how I didn't know no better. But once I realized the truth, it made me really kind of be more cautious. And no, I'm not red pilled or anything like that. This is just kind of common knowledge, right? Because this even happens for dudes too. That's kind of why cheating happens, because it's like usually cheating happens because either they get bored and they see something new. They're like, okay, I want that, because the brain gets bored of doing the same thing over and over and over, or maybe being around, you know what I mean? It doesn't give you that excitement or that dopamine rush like it did at the beginning. Think about when you first met somebody, or met a girl, right? Or met a dude, right? That's when you first met them, when you first start talking to them, right? You didn't really know anything about them, right? So the dopamine rush was there because it's like you were anticipated to find out more about them, to be around them more. Now, let's say fast forward 5 years down the line, you're basically with them you've been with them all the time. Obviously, it's not going to give you that same dopamine rush, because at the same time, you've been around them for so long that it just feels normal to you. Your brain looks at it as normal. So it's possible that if they possibly meet somebody else that could give them new experiences, then it's going to give them that dopamine rush again. Because they're like, oh, well, he can give me some new experiences, something I've never had. Because she's used to you now. You're used to her. So y'all no longer have that dopamine rush. It's just normal, right? But anyway, I might not know what I'm talking about, but I just feel like that this shit is just pointless in 2026. I feel like if you're chasing a relationship in 2026, you're wasting your time, because you're going to be disappointed to find out the reality of it. Because the reality of it is that if you're not a high value man, you're going to get left or cheated on. But if you are a high value man, then you're also in the risk too, because it's like you're in the risk no matter what. Okay? Because she not gonna leave you because you're too high value, but she could always cheat on you. But you have to worry about her using you or possibly trying to ruin your career if y'all ever get into an argument with false allegations. So much you gotta worry about. So relationships now just don't make sense to me. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. Like, comment, subscribe, man. And yeah, see y'all in the next one. Peace.